We are back here on the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show. You know, in the last couple of weeks, we've talked about the fact that it's the holidays, and sometimes people who are dealing with addiction-related issues get stressed by the holidays. Well, the stress of the holidays can also affect your relationships. We sometimes see a spike in domestic violence when the stress of the holidays kicks in. Here to give us some perspective on that and how to handle it, Rhonda Fleming. She is the Director of Education and Men's Programming for the Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, when I say to some people that the holidays can bring stress that can affect your relationships, some people look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm right, aren't I?
Well, Lynn, sort of, yeah. Let's talk a little more in depth about that. Yeah.
All right.
So we like to think about it because, you know what, it makes it comfortable. If we can put domestic violence in a box and say, well, it's because of stress, or it's because of the holiday season, or it's because their first child got sick last week. If we can put it in a box, it feels neater and more comfortable. But in actuality, intimate partner violence, also known as domestic violence, is something that happens every day of the year, all year long. So stress is a factor. Stress is not a cause of intimate partner violence. But if I'm allowed to say, well, it's just because, and I may be the victim saying this, well, it's just because he's stressed, everything's going to be okay. I feel better, I make you feel better about it, and we leave it alone. And it becomes the silent epidemic that it is. It's the quiet epidemic that we only talk about sometimes.
And we only talk about it when it has reached, it seems to me, some type of crisis proportion.
Yes, yes, and with all respect to the media, that's one of the things I often say. If we can keep this in the media and talk about it on a regular basis, it'll make it more likely and more comfortable. It also will let people know about more resources if we always talk about intimate partner violence. If we take away or do our part to take away shame, particularly shame from those who are being abused. If we take the shame away from it, I think it would increase the likelihood of people to report.
And I want to go back because you have been using the term intimate partner violence. And that becomes significant because I think people have one perception of what violence in a relationship could look like. And in fact, it doesn't always look the way you think.
That's right. We use intimate partner violence at Women's Center and Shelter because we are focused, and our main avenue is to talk about and work with intimate partner violence because we are looking at domestic violence is in the family. And yes, there's that needs addressed obviously as well, because domestic violence is my uncle moved in and my uncle is abusive toward me, or domestic violence is sibling violence, but intimate partner violence is specifically looking at wife or the coupled adults in the family.
So what are we going to say to people now? We are, and certainly hearing exactly what you said, because people are now stressed, however. So how do we approach, let me back that up. How do we approach the holidays if in fact we have already seen some type of anger issues or violent issues within the relationship?
That's great. That's a great question, because a lot of people try to make it through the holidays. People coming in town, the family members don't know about it, so that is another level that the family has to deal with. And when I say family, domestic violence, intimate partner violence affects everyone in the family. So there's the mom, and I'm using it as a heterosexual couple. We know it happens in the LGBTQ community. We know it happens in all relationships. I'm just using this for simplistic terms this morning. However, we know that it affects the children. It affects everyone in the family. So everyone's putting on making nice. They don't want people to find out about it. So my aunt's coming in town. My mom, grandmoms are coming in town. So we keep everything together. Oftentimes, the abuser is watching this as well because it's a method, it's a lifestyle, it's a belief system. So it's not something that the abuser isn't aware of. You know, he's aware of it as well. But in the meantime, he's keeping it together also because my big brother's coming in town next week also. So that abuse may the physical violence or the escalation, even if it's not physical, may not occur December 23rd, December 25th, but January 2nd, January 5th, it's here.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
The other thing that you've mentioned a couple times I want to pick up on is don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it, whether it's to each other when it's happening, or to reach out to someone else to say, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. When we look at the many facets involved in that, one that's very important is the help-seeking factor. So if I've called the police, and they've done their job, I'm not saying they didn't do their job. They have come, they have made the arrest, but somewhere down this system, it fell. And he did not get he didn't get changed, he didn't get fixed, he's the same. And now he has gone to whatever the court may have mandated, and unfortunately in this case there wasn't a change because he was not committed to making a change. Until the abuser, male or female, until the abuser gets the tools, resources, and the honest commitment to do something different, the belief system of abuse is going to be continuous in that relationship. So if I've told you and it has helped me, I'm more likely to move on. Unfortunately, statistically, a lot of victims go to another abusive relationship. Yeah.
And so do we know, do we understand, like, is that one of those, we do what we know, we do what we see, and because that's what we've become used to almost, that's our idea of what a relationship looks like?
That can be part of it as well. That could be a part as well as research shows that nurses, social workers, people who want to do nice, help others, fix things, is a high population of victims of intimate partner violence also. And it also may be, as you said, it's become my norm. I grew up in that family. It's what I saw. So if I grew up in a family where I knew my mom, my grandma, my aunties were in abusive, because I was 8 years old, but yeah, I heard the conversations, right? So if I heard those conversations growing up, I'm not going to be the one who can't sustain my relationship. I'm not breaking up. I'm going to be that strong, tough woman that stand by my man also. You know, so it's so many factors that goes into it. Although I never want to paint a picture of doom and gloom, because you certainly can get out. There certainly is help.
And let's talk about that now too, because you mentioned holidays, relatives coming in. They may be your lifeline.
Yes, it may be someone in your family who you can tell. It may be your sister. It may be your sister. When you tell her, she might tell you, honey, I know because I went through that. And you never realized or never knew your sister was in a formerly abusive relationship also. So you may find someone who you can trust. Certainly there are resources throughout the community for hotlines. We have a 24-hour hotline called
and I think we've been showing that.
Great. So, you know, certainly make that phone call. I always say reach out to somebody. You know, you can actually reach out to a stranger because it's the practice of saying it. That stranger who you tell, you may not ever see that person again, and you didn't tell them for the purpose of them helping you, other than they helped you because they listened.
They listened.
They listened. And you get one person to listen to you, you may feel more encouraged to reach out and tell someone who can now help you identify resources, who can help you talk about safety, who can help you figure out a plan. Leaving is not an event, it's a process. You know, you may think about leaving. I have to just testify for my own self right now. I just have to say, I thought about it 3 years, but it wasn't until 3 years later that I actually left a very dangerous relationship. So you may think about it for quite some time, but it doesn't happen just overnight.
Just overnight.
No.
And then we only got about a minute left or so. So what would you say to both men and women in our audience today that need some direction?
Okay, for the women, again, I'm going to say, please call our hotline or call someone, or as you just mentioned, Lynn, tell that mom or that auntie who's coming in town, because it's your story. You control what you want to tell and what you don't want to tell. Reach out, though, please do. To the men, we have a program for men. A lot of people don't know that about Women's Center and Shelter. If you don't have our direct number for the men's program.
And we've been showing that, too. That's a number.
Great. Okay, good. And that's saying MENS is an acronym for Men Embracing Nonviolence and Safety. Call on your own before a judge makes you come to the program. Or if the judge has already, because there's somebody watching this program who the judge probably already has told to call. He hasn't made that call yet, so he needs to call also. It's not about being punitive. It's a psychoeducational program to learn.
to learn. Rhonda, thanks so much for joining us. And let me just go back to where we started, because I started saying the stress of the holidays, and you corrected me. That's almost like giving an excuse.
Yes, it is.
It's almost like giving an excuse.
Thank you. It is.
And we don't want to give any excuses. You've been seeing the numbers. Don't forget, we're online at kdka.com. And in fact, we'll put a link on our website to your website to make it very easy. In the meantime, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to introduce you to Ken. He is a baker in the making. Don't go away when the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show continues.